Hello and welcome to this week's edition of The Public Square, your weekly current affairs show coming to you on Meri Online channel. It's been exactly 29 months since Russia invaded Ukraine on the 24th February 2022. When that happened, the world had just been reeling from the devastating effects of COVID-19, which claimed over 7 million lives. The Russia-Ukraine war continues unabated without an end in sight. Meanwhile, prices of goods such as fuel and food are increasing because of disruptions in the global supply chain. What is it going to take to end this war? What about the effects of the war on such countries like Botswana and others around the world? How can they be mitigated? We are joined in the studio by the ambassador of Ukraine, Lyubov Abravitova. She's here with me in the studio to answer some of these questions. Welcome, Your Excellency, to the Public Square. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Good day, Dumela. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. 4 months ago, in April, Ukraine opened an embassy in Botswana for the first time. What is the significance of the embassy, opening this embassy in Gaborone?
This is really a very important milestone of bilateral relations of Ukraine and Botswana, but it is also a very significant step for Ukraine to get back its legacy on the African continent. I want to take us back to the times that's very well remembered by most of the people of Botswana when Ukraine, being the part of USSR, was a very important part of a lot of deliberation movements of the fight against apartheid in Africa. And then something happened. When USSR collapsed, suddenly Ukraine was not noticeable in the relations with these countries. So I think that the significance is that Ukraine never disappeared. It has been here and it's standing ready even during the times of Russian brutal war in Ukraine, Russian aggression. We are open for partnerships and we are looking for the ways to look at how we can make it work for the benefit of our countries.
That's good. So in terms of the bilateral cooperation, which actually is now underway, besides just opening the embassy, what else are you pursuing in terms of Botswana and Ukraine?
You see, the relations between countries, they have different tracks, different dimensions. It is not only the existence of diplomatic representation. Usually countries have diplomatic relations established as soon as they recognize each other as sovereign states. There is big substance and work and relations before the embassies are opened. So we are on the stage when we are identifying the particular interests in our relations, which we are going to discuss probably during our interview today. But meantime, Russian aggression of Ukraine made it very clear that Ukraine is the breadbasket of not only Europe but of the world. Ukraine has a lot of capacities and experiences that it can share with the world. Ukraine is the IT hub. Ukraine is just the country of beautiful and brave people, and women and men and children that are trying to get the narrative through all the world that we are same as you. We want to share the same values with you, the values of democracy. And this is where we, Ukraine and Botswana, are finding the proper platform of our talks. Beautiful people of Botswana and beautiful people of Ukraine.
Thank you very much. I actually mentioned this in the introduction, that this war, the war between Russia and Ukraine, or the invasion, it disrupted global supply chain. And as a result of that, we saw runaway inflation, in many countries around the world. The cost of living going up. What I would like to know from you, Your Excellency, is while, of course, Ukraine is doing everything to protect itself from Russian aggression, what are you doing to mitigate this impact on a country like Botswana in terms of these increasing prices of goods?
The increasing prices on goods is only one of the scope of consequences that we have today. The real impact is broader and bigger, starting from the violation of international law, of the basic norms of United Nations Charter, which protects territorial integrity and sovereignty of each country, whether it's big or small, rich or developing. And finishing, just the basic interruption of supply chains and infrastructural projects. We felt the consequences in terms of the pockets of the ordinary people everywhere, in Botswana, maybe in Great Britain, in the United States, and Japan, but there is the bigger impact that at the end of the day will bring us in our discussion to the point where we discuss the change of global environment and politics. What's going to happen after the war will be over? And I'm coming to your question, what we can do to mitigate. And every war, sooner or later, is coming to the end, it will be over. The very important aspect is to bring it to mitigation when the war has the just end and just peace. Because if we don't have this simple word and meaning, just, then it can cause consequences that many countries will face. If we don't establish the rules that are followed by everyone equally, if we don't agree that we are not falling victims of double standards in international relations, in the development of relations, in the right, having the preserving right to secure our way, how we want to develop our nation, our country, our internal and external politics, then we can be in the bigger major problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency. We'll just hold it there for now. We are going for a short break. We'll continue to talk about the war on the other side of the break.
Have you downloaded BW News app? your one-stop shop for Botswana's leading newspapers. If not, what are you waiting for? Start reading the print editions of Botswana's leading newspapers as they appear in the newspapers on any device. The BW News app features the Midweek Sun, Botswana Guardian, Mechi, and the Monitor, updated in an easy-to-flip-through format once the papers are printed. Our packages include current affairs, which creates seamless access for one organizational setup. You can add up to 100 users at affordable rates. After subscription, you will have access to our PDF archive from the past 1 year. You will also receive notifications on your phone as soon as the newspapers publish. You can open your favorite title and share it in text format, and also change the font size and screen light to your choosing. Too busy to flip through and read? The BW News app will read the article for you, and it can also translate from English to the language you're comfortable with. Get the BW News app from the Google Play Store and the App Store and enter a world of up-to-date news presented as it appears in the physical paper.
If you are just joining, we are on the public square. We are having a conversation with the ambassador of Ukraine to Botswana, Her Excellency Lyubov Abravitova. So she's here in the studio. Welcome back,
Thank you.
Your Excellency. We are really honored to have you. The war that is still raging between Russia and Ukraine, what is the state of the war right now? Is it still as ferocious as it was, say, 12 months ago, or is it now low intensity?
I will start by saying that war started not on the 24th of February 2022. War started in 2014. 10 years ago, Ukraine is protecting its very right for existence, and Ukrainians protecting their right for self-identification as a Ukrainian nation. Since that time, we had more than 90 different rounds of negotiations with Russians that never came to any success. 24th of February, that people in all the world realized that the war was really happening on the major, unknown before scale in the world. Started with aggression, where Russia was able to very quickly move into the territory of Ukraine and got a lot of territory under its control. Since that time, Ukraine was able to regain half of the territory taken by Russians. But still, as of today, 24% of Ukrainian territory is under control of Russian occupants and terrorists. Ukraine is fighting back, particularly in the eastern part of Ukraine. We are experiencing every day heavy attacks through all the country of Ukraine, which for our viewers who don't realize that actually Ukraine and Botswana is of the same size, with the only difference that Ukraine has the population, before invasion started, had the population of 47 million people. Every day this country is under rain of missiles from different parts of Russia, through the sea and through the air. And of course, the battlefield is active in the east of Ukraine. As of today, the losses of Russian side are more than 500,000 people. We have a lot of Ukrainians who had to flee country, particularly and especially it's women and children. But also we have a lot of internally displaced people. The Crimean Peninsula that was annexed in 2014 traditionally had and historically had the population of Muslim population of Ukraine, which are Crimean Tatars. A lot of them had to flee to other parts of Ukraine after the annexation. So the war has very many faces. It has, unfortunately, the face of IDPs, of humanitarian crisis, of ecological disaster. We have the biggest nuclear plant in Europe on the territory of Ukraine, which has been occupied by Russians. And it is a very thin line and a matter of time when it can affect not only Ukraine, but entire Europe. And that makes concern. A lot of international organizations, including International Atomic Agency, are involved in negotiations today to get control, or at least to get access to the plan, to get control over it, to mitigate the consequences, possible consequences of this crisis. As I say, it's many phases, because Russia deliberately attacks the energy infrastructure. Ukrainians experience big outages of electricity today. And of course, our recent, the outstanding loss of many people in the children's hospital that was attacked by Russians in Kiev, that's something that again and again proves that Russians are using all possible mechanisms to exhaust the country, to make Ukrainians to surrender, but they're getting the opposite result.
Yeah, and are you not concerned, Your Excellency? When we spoke off the camera before we started the show, you told me that by virtue of being accredited to Botswana, you are also accredited to SADC. Are you not worried that for countries that are far removed, away from Eastern Europe in particular, where the war is taking place, there might be some fatigue now, and because people are saying, hey, this war is not ending, and because they don't have a skin in the game, they no longer even now offer you any moral support or solidarity against Russian aggression.
I'm not afraid, because the effect is completely opposite. The expectations of Russians was that the world would be tired of their war. They made this exercise several times with the same scenario. The recent one was in Georgia in 2008. So Ukraine just didn't give up, and they expected to take over Ukraine in 3 days. Today we are sitting here and talking about Ukraine regained the half of the territory, and we're talking about getting into negotiations with Russians from the condition of the strongest. So it's not the time when the world could say, we are not interested in you anymore. This is your part of the world. Let it be happening. It is not possible, because this is the first time after World War II when one nuclear power, nuclear country with nuclear weapons, being the member of United Nations Security Council, is attacking and taking the territory with force of another neighboring country that abandoned second largest nuclear weapons of the world. This is the first time when the country that plays such an important role in food security of the globe is affected. Now, after so long, the world is waking up and thinking what we can do to stop Russian invasion. And they slowly but surely pronouncing the name of the war by its real name. It's Russian war of aggression. And they're coming together to the peace summit to Switzerland, which happened recently. And they're sitting and thinking how we can organize ourselves as an international society that sharing the same values to help to achieve just peace.
Good. We'll hold it there, Your Excellency. We are going for a short break, and then we'll continue to talk about the war on the other side of the break.
Do you want to stay in touch with the up-to-the-minute breaking news countrywide, regional and international coverage, as well as in-depth analysis from Botswana's most trusted media house? Then head over to www.megi.bw, where you can also enjoy access to premium articles, long reads, features, and exclusive opinions. Whether you're looking for updates on politics, health, education, business and the economy, or sports, and many more, we have you covered. Sign up on the website and choose a package suitable for you. We also have packages for organizations at affordable rates. Visit www.megi.bw and enjoy the finest journalism and news you need to know.
If you are just joining us, we are on the public square. We are having a conversation with the ambassador of Ukraine to Botswana, Her Excellency Lyubov Abravitova. Welcome back, Your Excellency. It's often said, Your Excellency, that all wars are fought in the battlefield, but they usually end around the negotiating table. The war has been raging now, as you said, it actually started in 2014, as you said, so it's almost 10 years now that you've been under Russian invasion or aggression. What do you say to someone who says, you have made your point, Ukraine has made its point? Isn't it time now to cease fire, talk to the Russians with the view to ending the war so that the killing of innocent people, the displacement of innocent people can stop?
You will be surprised. I will answer you with the argument of Russian ambassador to Botswana. Yeah, he says, but they cannot speak to us. They have an decree from the President Zelensky that any negotiations with Russians are not allowed. And that's true. If Russians would want to finish the war, they would just stop the invasion. They would withdraw their troops and the war would be over. The reason the war is happening because that they don't want the war to stop. They want to invade Ukraine, period. Ukrainians, if they stop fighting, which means ceasefire, which means truce, Ukrainians will not exist anymore. For us, is the matter of survival of us as nation and the matter of keeping the home for our children. I'm the mother of 2 boys, 11 and 7 years old. I want my children to live in peaceful Ukraine. Can I achieve that peace by giving up? No. That is why so many different initiatives, how we make Russia to withdraw from Ukraine are happening. That's why we are talking to our international partners on the platforms that exist, like United Nations organization, that has the mandate to prevent conflicts, but also if the conflicts occur, to stop them, but also to establish new mechanisms how to stop it. Sanctions that are implemented against Russia, that are continue to grow and that continue to affect this terrorist country. This is one of the mechanisms. But also there are other different initiatives, such as Peace Formula of Zelensky. Let me just quickly explain what is that about. There are different phases of war. You just mentioned. It's the war of information. This is the war of the war using the food as a weapon. That means that we are talking about food security. This is the aspect of nuclear safety, of environmental aspect. Every single one has to be addressed within international relations, but also bilaterally. And within each point, we are inviting our partners to sit at the table of negotiations and decide where is that condition when Ukraine, with the assistance of our partners, can discuss with that country or representative of the country of aggressor the way how they are finishing their war of aggression in Ukraine. And the first peace summit happened recently in Switzerland, and it achieved quite a lot. It was a success of having more than 90 countries on the highest level being present. And it's not the countries of West, it's countries of all over the world, including African leaders, that are ready to sit and find the solution, how we have to minimize the effects what already exist, but also to stop Russia waging its war.
You obviously, as Ukraine, want to end the war on your own terms. You don't expect anyone to dictate, whether it's Russia or anybody, any other country for that matter. Now, one of the things that Russia seemed to have been uncomfortable about was Ukraine's desire to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. Is it something that you are amenable to relinquishing the desire to want to join NATO? Is it something that...
You see, NATO and the aspiration to become a member of NATO is something that embroidered in our constitution. So being a democratic country means that if we want to consider the possibility of changing that chapter of constitution, we have to amend it. If we need to amend it, we have to hold a referendum. So we have to have people of Ukraine who decide whether they want to join this organization or not. And interestingly enough, if you would do the survey of opinion before 2014, you would not find the support of joining NATO among even 50% of Ukrainians. So by invading Ukraine, Russians achieved the opposite. They encouraged the huge majority of Ukrainians to really want to join NATO. Another fact that they didn't expect by the invasion, that actually they enlarged the member states with adding 2 extra countries. They put NATO exactly on the borders of Russia and made the borders of NATO closer to them twice.
That's right. My last question to you, Your Excellency. The United States of America is a strong ally of Ukraine. Now, later this year in November, the United States is going to the elections. Are you not concerned that if the Republicans, Donald Trump, wins the elections, there might be a change in policy towards Ukraine? Because I think as one of his priorities, Donald Trump has said he's going to stop the war. What is Ukraine's attitude towards that?
The 2024, it's a very interesting year. It's the year of many elections in the world. And I want to believe that every citizen in every country will have the right to express his democratic right to vote. And what we can be sure in the United States is that whatever voices will be expressed, that it will be a democratic choice of the people, which all of us will respect. But what I know for sure is that being that Democrats or Republicans, the people of the United States, as the people of Botswana, are standing in solidarity with the Ukrainians. Now we're talking about the politics. I spoke just now about the people. The politics is when you have obligations independently on whether it's one or another party is at the rule. If you look at the relations between Ukraine and the USA, you will discover for yourself that United States have obligations before Ukraine, because as I told before, we abandoned one of the largest nuclear arsenal of the world. And that was under guarantees of three countries. Guess whom? United States, Great Britain, and Russian Federation. Yet Russia Federation abandoned the treaty that it signed, as many other treaties. But United States and Great Britain guaranteed to Ukraine, when we were giving away that nuclear weapon, that it will protect our territorial integrity and sovereignty. Today we're protecting it, and we are receiving all possible support from the countries, democratic countries, including the United States. And I personally very doubt that the change, or possible change, or if any change is happening in any of these countries, it would dramatically change the approach to support the values that Ukrainians are protecting for all the world.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. That's all we had for this week on the Public Square. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you very much, Ambassador. We appreciate it.